Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
From the Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Kamel, joined by my very best friend, Dr. John Delony, and we are here for you, America, taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Whatever's going on in your life, we'll talk about it. We'll help you take the right next step. Laura is going to kick us off in New York City. How can we help today, Laura?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my question is, do I have a moral obligation to give my mom money when she was abusive to me and my siblings and historically not financially responsible?
Oof.
You framed that really heavy, like moral responsibility. Where does the weight of that come from?
I think it comes from, I grew up in a Christian church, and I still am. I still follow Christianity. And
okay, so hold on. What's the directive there?
Well, I want to do the right thing.
Well, what's the word used?
What's the directive in Scripture?
Oh,
I can think of one where it starts with an H.
Yes.
Yeah, honor your father and mother. And then there's also a verse in like Matthew 15 where Jesus is telling the Pharisees, you're giving your money to the church, but you won't even help your parents. And then the other reason for that moral obligation factor is two of my siblings really think it is morally our job to give my mom money. And we recently had a sibling conversation because she just keeps asking us all for money, and two of my siblings kind of just give her whatever she asks for. And then me and one of my other siblings are not really feeling that. And so we're kind of under this place where it's awkward in our personal relationship where they think we are morally wrong for not agreeing to just give my mom whatever she asks for.
And so what you're hoping to do here is to find a way that your abusive mother and your enabling brother or two siblings don't make you feel uncomfortable. And so maybe the greatest gift George and I could give you today is there's no path forward for you that's not going to be uncomfortable. And so using discomfort as the barometer for what's a right move and what's a not right move is the wrong barometer.
Right. I can feel that I cannot be objective about this.
Okay. So can you is it honoring your mother to continue to hand her cash that she is going to use to make herself less and less and less well?
Well, I mean...
No, yay or nay?
I don't know. She's 70.
Or is honoring her, is honoring your mother, having a honest, direct conversation about boundaries, about if you want my money and I'll be willing to help in this particular way, then so be it. Or is honoring saying honestly and with integrity, I'm still too hurt from how we grew up. And at this time, not that I can't, because that's not honest, I'm choosing to not give you cash.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Honor does not mean you have to do whatever somebody else tells you to do forever and ever, amen, regardless of it. That's not what honoring means.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes honoring is uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how that conversation would go.
Right.
Can we play out the other side where you actually give your mother this money and you become resentful because you know it's not the right thing to do and you're not cheerfully giving? You're going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this to this person who hurt me in this way, who's been financially irresponsible. That's going to eat you alive, isn't it?
And every time she calls, you hate that she's calling. That is dishonoring.
And you hate that your siblings guilted you into this?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of painting a picture of both worlds where we have the hard conversation and say no, and we feel better about it and it doesn't consume us, versus the other side, which is, all right, I guess I'll do this. It's the last thing I want to do, and I don't feel good about it, and this is not being a good steward of my money and my wealth, but I'm going to do it anyways.
And let's ask that question, because we get that. George and I get that a lot. Do you even have the money to give her?
Well, no.
Okay. Period.
So
Stop.
Yeah.
You don't have the money.
Yeah.
Now, what will your siblings say when you say, hey, even if I wanted to, I don't have the money?
Well, yeah, they've said you could just make more lifestyle changes and just come up with money, which we already live on one income, have kids.
Can't your mom do that too?
Vehicles. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel like.
Now, if you don't give, is it on the siblings? Are they going to have to take on more, and they're still going to do this regardless of what you do?
Yeah, I think that's the rub is I know it makes my siblings' finances harder because
Nope,
if I don't...
that's not true. Not true. Your siblings choose to make their situations challenging because they are choosing to still try to find a way to have a relationship with their mom. And at this point, the only path towards a relationship with her is you give me cash. So they are making choices too.
Yeah.
They're choosing a transactional relationship.
Yeah.
Because they feel better that way. And just the same, you get to choose. And if you would feel better not giving and setting that boundary, that's a path to go down.
But here, say again, there is no path you can take that is not going to be uncomfortable.
Or that fixes any of this.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be upset.
Yeah.
Your siblings aren't going to like you. Your mom, I don't know how she feels at this point. I don't think it's going to fix anything whether you give her money or not.
Or you're going to feel really guilty because you can't solve this problem for everybody. And you've probably been in charge of solving all of your family's problems since you were a little bitty girl, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your next financial goal?
Right now, financial goal is to probably get enough money in savings that we could purchase like an investment property.
So you guys are in a decent place financially. You have no debt, a fully funded emergency fund?
Mm-hmm.
Is part of this financial progress because of your past? Did you kind of run the other way and said, I don't ever want to be a burden financially to my family?
Oh, yeah, because my parents kind of train wrecked their finances I watched that and it made me want to go, I'm going to be really responsible. I'm not going to have any debt. I'm going to work hard and live under my means and all of that.
So you're changing your family tree. That's a pretty cool way to honor your mother and father, is to leave a different legacy.
Yeah.
And honoring doesn't always mean everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
I think you're on the right path, Laura. I think we can't make this call for you, but it sounds like you know the next right move. And sometimes the next right move is scary and really hard too.
I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I have taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? Like, and it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I going to eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief. Like, it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance. And we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like, there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. It costs us stinking pizza.
It really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel here with Dr. John Delony. Mark is up next in Burlington, Vermont. Mark, welcome to the Ramsey Show. How can John and I help today?
Hi. I friended somebody on Facebook who I thought was NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin, and we developed a friendship, and it quickly turned financial, and I thought it was Denny Hamlin, and it became all about my money, and I ended up doing like 6 Quandy $500 gift cards, and I was told that he had a briefcase stuck in customs and his documentation to get it inside the United States expired, so I ended up doing a withdrawal on my 401k and killed my IBM 401k. And then it kept being held in customs, and I ended up doing more loans on my other Global Foundries 401k, and I lost like $100,000.
Oh, man, I'm sorry, dude.
That's awful. I'm so sorry, Mark.
I know it didn't make you feel any better, but people are getting scammed right and left all over the world, man. I'm sorry.
And it's smart people, too.
Yeah.
So the easiest thing to fall for is, well, I'm just a big idiot. It could happen to anyone. These scams these days are getting so sophisticated that the smartest people out there are still falling for this stuff. And I'm sorry that you were the next victim.
Yep.
When did you realize that this was a scam?
It was later on. This happened like February. It started February of last year, and it started out with like 5 or 6 $500 gift cards. And from there it went to him saying his documentation to get his stuff inside the U.S. expired, and then it went to his bank was dragging his feet, and he needed to have me do another loan, and I just...
How did you send all this money?
It was by a cashier's check. And I sent it to place in, I believe, in Virginia. And I had the police... No, it was in Arkansas. Arkansas. And I had the police in Arkansas looking at it. I called the U.S. Secret Service. I called the FBI. I called the state police. I called the Berry police. And you name it, I called it. And one by one, everybody just left me. And my lawyer said that I needed to have a different type of lawyer. My lawyer was helping me out for quite a while. And then my other lawyer has not really gotten back in touch with me. So,
well, let's pretend that there's a worst case scenario where we just have lost this money and we have to rebuild. Where are you at today?
I just barely looked at my 401k, and I thought that I thought originally it was like $200,000, which to me was all right, considering it's just me because I'm divorced.
How old are you?
And then I am 54.
Okay.
And I looked at my balance as of today, and it was $146,321. So it's not $100,000 like I thought it was. It's $146.
Okay. Do you have any debt today?
No. The only thing I do, I pay $1,000 for rent, and that's heat, hot water, utilities, trash, recycle. And then I pay $60 for phone, and then I pay like $50 a month for Wi-Fi, and that's it.
Good. So you have low expenses. What do you make a year?
I make about $60,000 a year. My pay per hour is $24.71.
Okay. So how can we help today?
I'm scared and I'm fearful, and I'm wondering what to do.
What are you scared of specifically?
Finances, worrying how I'm going to afford things. What happens when I need a car? How do I get my money back that I lost?
I think you have to go in when everything feels overwhelming. I think you have to go in a particular order and go slower than you think. Here's what I mean.
Yeah.
In your guts, you want vengeance. You want to find out who hurt you, who weaponized what you thought was a new friendship, especially on the back end of a divorce when things are tough. Somebody weaponized what I think is the most sacred thing, and that's a relationship. And then inside that relationship, somebody asked you for help, and you're the kind of guy that helps. And that hurts, man.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I was financially raped.
It's fair enough. And so you want to go get all that money back. Your car transmission doesn't care about that. And so while I want to get it back, I want to find the guy, I'm calling all the people, like that's like front and center in your guts. You feel that really heavy. When we're hurt like this and it feels overwhelming, it's important to feel that feeling and then go do the next right thing. And in your case, we just got to start again financially. And it sounds caustic, but there's not another option. And so here's the good news. You have 150 grand.
Yes.
You didn't wipe it out. So we're going to start building it back. We're going to get an emergency fund built up. So we're our own bank. And so when our car goes, we're going to be a couple of years away from getting the big, nice truck we wanted. Cool. We're going to be able to have money in the account just in case we need to go get a new Camry. Great. Cool. Problem solved. On to the next one. And then in the background, we'll do what we can. I don't know. I mean, the chances that you get this money back are very, very, very slim.
Yep.
What I don't want is for this to consume you. Obviously, it already has, but for the next 10 years, you're just on this hunt and this search, and over time, it becomes more and more apparent it's not going to happen. And so I also don't want you to waste your time kind of going down this rabbit trail all for nothing. I'd rather you spend that time rebuilding than recovering. And so we can rebuild. You might have to work a few years longer than you wanted to. You're 54. I just crunched some numbers for you. If you just invested 15% of that $60,000 income, never got a raise, but you'd have to work till 70, you could have $1 million in that 401k and retire with dignity, especially if you keep your expenses low. So I'm not worried that you're going to just go completely broke. I'm more worried about Mark as a person, emotionally and physically.
Thank you.
Can I give you a homework assignment?
Kind of, yeah. So I know how you guys say to jumpstart and go and pay off one bill and then do a snowball and go after the next bill. So a friend offered to pay off my small loan that I have.
I thought you said you had no debt.
Well, no, those loans that I took out on my 401k, I have two loans on my 401k that I took out. And
how much are they?
Let's see. One is like 19,000, and the other's like 3,000.
Okay. So is that all of your loans and debt? To be clear, you don't have any credit card debt, no car debt, just the 401k loans.
That's it.
I would not put money between you and yet another relationship.
No.
And so your friend is awesome. He's just like you. He's a guy who shows up and helps, wants to help. And you've tried that before, and you put money between you and what you thought was a friend, and it went sideways. I would recommend not doing that. But I would also recommend you double-clicking on that friendship, because he's the kind of guy that will show up in the middle of the night to help you out.
Yes, he is.
Pretty cool. And then say, hey, man, I love you. This is one I got to work through. Because part of your healing will be in the sweat equity of earning that $3,000.
This guy is probably one of the most godliest people I've ever met in my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I would recommend not taking that money, even though it feels like an easy solution. I would recommend saying, "Hey, thank you. You showed up in the night for me, and I'm grateful. But I want to work this one off. It's going to be my sweat tax. It's going to be my reminder to never get into an online relationship like that again. I don't loan money to friends. I might give it to you, but I got to look you in the eye before I hand it to you, right?
Yeah.
Could you throw $3,600 a month toward these 401k loans if you got scrappy?
Could I do that?
Yeah.
No, I am.
How much could you throw at it?
I am so broke that I can't do hardly anything. What I'm doing right now is I anticipated having to owe like $8,800 to $8,300 on the taxes from last year. That is in debt negotiation.
Hang on the line, Mark. I'm going to send you a copy of my book, Breaking Free from Broke. It's going to walk you step by step through this, but it's going to take getting more income and cutting expenses and getting rid of this debt. Wishing you the best, man.
Okay, guys, I got big news. Aldi is now the official grocery sponsor of the Ramsey Show. Yeah, Ramsey is teaming up with Aldi, the grocery store that cares as much about saving money as I do. Get this, Aldi branded products save you up to 63% over similar name brand products at other stores. It's great quality and big savings on everything you need with no gimmicks, no membership fees, or coupons required. See for yourself how Aldi is saving Americans across the country $8.3 billion a year. So stop paying more and start shopping at Aldi, where they have the lowest prices of any national grocery store. Find a store near you today at aldi.us. That's ALDI.us.
Welcome back. If you're a fan of the show, take a second, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, share it with a friend. It means more than you know, and you don't know the impact that can have. And I just got a great story from the Ramsey Baby Steps community on Facebook. Mike dropped in this story about this lady. I don't know her name. It's not listed here, but here's the story. She said, I lost my job in March. I'm 56. They dragged me into HR with no notice, no warning, nothing, and laid me off. I was pretty upset about it, but here's the thing. Dave saved me. I will never make it to the show, but I want everyone to know to keep going. I have a paid-for house. It is small, but it's all mine. A paid-for, reliable, and great car, no debt at all, and $450,000 in the bank. When I found Dave, I was $20,000 in credit card debt and had no savings whatsoever. I've been single my whole life, so it has always been just one salary and always well below $100,000. Anyway, I'm sort of happy about the job loss now and on to better things. I know Dave will never read this, but if he does, I want him to know he saved my life and my future. Well, we did read it, and I'm sure Dave will as well. And can we just say this out loud? Dave didn't save your life. I'm glad that he gave you the hope and some tools, but you did this. Yeah. You did all this hard work. And what a great testament to the Ramsey plan, just to show people, hey, it's easy when life is going your way, but when it doesn't, are you prepared?
And here's the frustrating, heartbreaking truth about life. There's big swaths of our lives where things are not going our way. And that's why it's important to do the things that are hard and annoying and frustrating, like saving money, like not getting the newest car, whatever. It's important to do those things along the way so that when life hits, you're ready to rock and roll, right? And it ends up, I love how this ends. I'm sort of happy about the job loss. Now I'm on to better things. We never realize until we have to that often the best things in life are on the other side of fear. Almost always. And so, I mean, sometimes on the other side of fear is that cancer was real, right? Sometimes on the other side of fear is like your kid's not coming home. Like there's truth to that. But also on the other side of fear is I thought this job was everything to me, and it's not. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And now I can go do some things I want to do with my one precious life and all that. We can keep talking about it. But, and George, I've become, I don't know, it's like a light switch that flipped to me about 2 weeks ago. I've almost become obsessed now with being a flashlight in a world that is just insistent on everything's coming down. And I don't know how to even do that right, but I've just become obsessed. And I think I'm going to start reading these kind of stories over and over and over again, because it's easy just to keep reading the news channels and listening to and then you just hear about this amazing woman who, in the dark, just plugs away and plugs away and plugs away. And then life happens and she's like, you know what? Actually, my life's better now.
I was ready.
Pretty awesome.
You kind of built your own insurance plan for your entire financial life.
That's right.
By following this stuff. So thank you all for sharing it, leaving the reviews, hitting the subscribe button, telling your friends, texting the link. It all matters. Danielle is up next in Tulsa, Oklahoma. How can we help, Danielle? What's going on?
Whoo, John, I sure need that flashlight right now.
Well, come on, bring it on.
Y'all, I'm so done with debt. I'm getting married in a week and a half, and my fiancé is on board for us getting out of this mess, but I'm having problems getting him to be intense with our money, be intense with the plan, moving forward with the plan, and I just need help lighting a fire under him.
Can I ask you a personal question, just between me and you and a couple million people?
Sure.
Have you ever been told in your life that you are, quote unquote, a lot?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been told, like, hey, shh?
Not very often.
When you were little?
Yes.
Okay. Here's why I'm asking that. Don't change a thing about you.
Okay.
But often you're heading into a humongous life transition. Is that fair?
Yes.
And you're nervous and excited and cannot wait. And oh my gosh, what am I doing?
All of it.
Yes. Okay. There's no possible way anybody that you would choose to marry, unless you were clinically insane, would be able to match your level of intensity right now. And in fact, probably the reason you love this guy is because he's a walking Xanax for you. Fair?
You nailed it. Yeah.
Okay. So don't mistake his calm, I'm in. Let's do a budget together. Let's get through this wedding together. Let's get through this honeymoon together. Then I'm in. Don't mistake that steady presence for, he doesn't love me. He doesn't want this like I do. Don't do that to him. Okay? And also, by the way, on Friday night, when he says, let's just stay in, and he married you, because you'll go, no, we're going dancing and we're going to go horseback riding first. And then we're going to jump out of a plane. That's why I married you. Fair?
It's actually the opposite. He's the one that wants to go out and do everything. I want to stay home.
That's probably fair. Your body's probably
cat.
tired by Friday night. Yeah. Your body's like, whew.
What actual conversations have happened? What words has he used when you talk about this debt payoff plan? Because you said you're like, he's in, but he doesn't have the intensity that I do.
Yeah, part of it's because he's been broken down for so long. We've been going through a lot. We've been together 14 years, and in the last probably 2 years, things have got really intense. We've had a lot of big life changes, and this last job that he took has just been, was just kind of out of necessity, and it's kind of a dead-end job. So one of the big things that needs to happen is he needs to get a job somewhere else, but I think life has just kind of bummed him down a little bit to where
he's lost his mojo. He wants some
exactly.
purpose. He wants to feel like he's doing the right things and spending his energy on the right things, and he's just sort of floundering right now, which makes sense. Why he's not like, yeah, we're going to get out of debt. He's got some foundation to build right now of just getting his income and getting it stable and doing some work that he enjoys doing and becoming a provider now to a wife. That's a lot of life change. And I think once he gets the stability and finds that purpose, the fire will be lit.
And you may try to light that fire for him. I would recommend not doing that.
Okay.
You may come in and be like, all right, I got 14 job opportunities. I heard Dan's hiring over there. And if he does that, you know who else did that to him? You know who did that to him?
Listening to our conversations.
I know. You know who did that to him? His mom. His mom did that.
Yeah.
And so let's don't be mom, but let's do have this. Can we agree on a dollar amount that we have to have in this house for us to A, survive, and B, pay off this debt? Yeah, I can agree to that. All right, I'm earning $3,000 of that. Then the other $3,000 you're on board for. And that's our covenant, that's our commitment, and that's our spit shake, and that's our I swear. And it might be a quote unquote dead end job, but if it's helping your family move forward, it's not dead end.
Right. The reason why I say it's a dead-end job is because, the benefits are terrible. He has no option for overtime, and he's being paid pretty low for what field he's in.
That's cool.
So
it's not forever, but if it's serving a purpose, then let's honor the integrity of work and let's go find something else. But he's got to feel that sense and that pull, and that sense and that pull is not going to come from you harassing him and beating him down. It's also not going to come from you throwing 40 different options and ideas. And that's just like his mom saying, well, you wear this and fix that, fix your hair. Why are you doing that? Have you brushed your teeth yet? He doesn't need that either. And at the other side, he needs a goal, and he needs his wife to look across the table and say, I'm trusting you to go get your $3,000 this month. And then we'll begin to look for the career and the job and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes. It
Not
does.
to over-existentialize it. Let's start with small baby goals.
And put some facts on paper. You guys get back from the honeymoon. Let's make our first budget. Let's see what our total income is going to be. What's the total take-home pay? What's our total debt? How much extra can we throw at this thing? And then we can figure out how to light the fire and go, hey, what if we could do this in 6 months instead of 8? What would that take?
Or, hey, you can't get overtime in this particular job you have right now, and I know you're putting out applications. Cool. You've got dinner for the next 60 days. I'm going to work as many overtime hours because now me and me is now we. We're going to do this together. It's us now. That make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Hang on the line. We're going to hook you up with FPU as a wedding gift. And that's because me and George like weddings.
Plus, it's better getting it from us than someone attending the wedding.
It could be an awkward gift.
There's a time in your life and the baby steps for renting, but you don't want to do it forever because when you rent, you're still paying for a mortgage, just somebody else's. Plus, rent means instability in your budget because it always goes up, never down. So when you're ready to buy, make sure you work with a mortgage partner you can rely on. Churchill Mortgage. Churchill is Ramsey trusted to help you make the move from renting to home ownership wisely. Churchill understands that when you buy a home the Ramsey way, your mortgage payment will be a consistent, manageable part of your monthly budget. Plus, when your home is paid off, that was your largest expense. Now it's extra money in your pocket and an asset towards turning you into a baby steps millionaire. Get started on the American dream of home ownership today at churchillmortgage.com. That's churchillmortgage.com.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Listen, buying or selling your home, it's a big deal. And between the clickbait headlines, confusing data, it's tough to know what's actually going on in the housing market. So we're here to make the latest trends easy to understand. Here they are. Median home prices went up slightly last month to about $430,000. More homes are on the market, nearly 1 million, which is the highest since 2019. So we have an increase in supply. But in a lot of areas, it's still not enough to meet buyer demand. The average 15-year fixed rate rose to 5.9% last month, and it's still under 6%. So if you're financially ready, a small rate increase shouldn't hold you back from buying a home you love. That's not the difference maker here. So to learn more about the housing market trends and get free tools to help you buy or sell with confidence, head to RamseySolutions.com/market or click the link in the show notes if you're listening on podcast or YouTube. Riley is up next in Springfield, Missouri. What's going on, Riley?
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going? How can we help today?
So I am 28 years old. My wife is 31. She is a stay-at-home mom. We have 2 sons, 5 and 3 years old. We are on baby 6, by the way.
Awesome.
We are in the middle of a debacle with our budget. I'm trying to make sure I free up enough fund money for her because obviously staying at home is staying at home. It's absolutely miserable for the mother. It's great that she can do that, but it is very tough on her. And so I want to make sure that I leave enough aside in our budget for her to have fun, as well as continue to save, for our retirement and everything else. We're doing 15% like we're supposed to into Roth IRA. I have a pension, a union pension, and then I have a simple IRA that I get 3% match on through my employer.
Cool.
I gross $70,000 a year. Now I want to put $200 a month per son into a money market, maybe, I don't know, to save for them to have a down payment on a house. With the way that house prices are increasing, I am scared they're going to not have enough capital to be able to buy as young as I was able to. And I don't know if the money market is the better route, or to put it in our Roth IRA and just pull out contributions when that time comes. I'm trying to avoid gift tax and all this other stuff for them to try to make it as streamlined as possible. And you guys can tell me what you think, because $400 a month is $83,000 some change after 18 years. So I'm a little conflicted as to what to do.
Woo! Man, what a party it is at Riley's house.
Yeah,
I love it. You're like
sorry.
me. You're kind of like the nerdy dad who wants to do everything the right way and have all the I's dotted and T's crossed. And you want the wife to have the fun money.
Does your ideal romantic night begin with a spreadsheet?
No,
it's like they put on Barry White, and it's like
I am. I'm pretty wild. I'm a lot.
Get it on.
I'm ADHD. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, I can totally tell. But here's what I also know about ADHD. Hashtag I may be a card-carrying member of that group. We love to create future problems that we can then solve in the present, because most of us got a message our entire lives that there's something wrong with us. And we find it very hard to be still in a relationship, especially when that other person says, I pick and love you.
Yeah.
We find it very hard to be still and just wrestle with our kids because we think there's something wrong with us that we need to go fix real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So George is furiously typing on the math over here because he knows how that works. I'm still not great at it. But I want to tell you, having been where you are, like last night at midnight. How about that? That's me for vulnerability here. I had my spreadsheet out and I was looking at land. Okay. I was trying to solve a problem that literally doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
I probably would have been of more value to my family had I gone to bed at 10 and woke up a little more clear-eyed this morning and had fun when I shared breakfast with my children.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Do you know what's going to happen? Put it this way. In 18 years, that is 4 presidential elections from now.
Yeah.
2 presidential elections ago, would you have predicted anything that the world is right now? Nope.
No.
I was just looking at, George and I were looking at this new toy that came out that's connected to AI. It knows everything ever asked. It knows it. And it just is supposed to talk to your kids so that they never have to talk to a parent or a person. In 18 years, you know what the world's going to look like? I don't know. And so what I would tell you is solve today's problems today. And today's problems are your kids need a focused, present dad on all fours wrestling with them on the ground. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're
hitting the nail on the head more than you know.
Bro, you are so far ahead. You're already putting money in retirement. You got a pension. Like, you're doing good stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I just come from a lot of my parents just got divorced last year after 28 years of marriage.
I know. And you were trying to solve that on a spreadsheet. Solve it with connection.
No kidding.
And that's scary and hard.
Yeah.
Scary and hard. George, talk about.
All right, we can talk numbers now just to give you some ideas and options. Number one, you're investing for your own retirement. Are you saving for their college?
No, I've opted to not do like a 529 or something like that. I suppose I could still do that and then roll it over into an IRA if I got to that point down the road.
Well, let me play this out for you. Here's my fear. Your kids have a great down payment, but they have $200,000 in student loans to deal with.
Well, he's already Googled that, and he's made the bet that there won't be any college in 18 years. Fair? Exactly. Trust me.
No, I
know
I
this
don't
guy.
want to force them to go to college and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I want
There's
them
no
to kinda,
forcing, but I'll tell you what has happened in most American households. The parents go, "We'll figure it out." Well, the time comes for Junior to go off to college, and he chose a pretty expensive school because the parents never sat him down and set a boundary. And now it's $150,000, and the parents took out some Parent Plus loans. The kid took out some subsidized loans from FAFSA, and they got a mess to deal with. And so I'm telling you that to say what I do in my own house. I put my mask on first with retirement, then I focus on college. Then if there's money beyond that I want to put away for my kids one day, I would just do that in a taxable brokerage account. And you can gift, if you're married filing jointly, currently you can give $36,000 a year to each kid with no gift tax.
A taxable brokerage account?
Yeah, just basically a non-retirement investment account. Your money market account is not going to get you very far, and you've got such a long time horizon with a 3- and 5-year-old. I'd rather see that money, experience some compound growth in the market.
And I would rather you put that money and pay off your house.
Yeah, I know. I want to really bad. That's
I know.
item.
So that's why I'm saying, to John's point, I would focus on that after you're through the baby steps. That's when you can start having some fun going, all right, we paid off the house. Now we can set up our kids' future.
Right. This reminds me of my buddy, Dr. Lane Norton. He's one of the smartest nutrition minds on the planet. Here's his phrase, and I stole it directly from him, and I love it. Most people, when it comes to nutrition, step over $100 bills trying to pick up nickels and pennies. They don't exercise, they don't lift weights, they don't eat right most of the time, and then they're like, oh my gosh, what essential oil is going to save me? Or did you hear about red number 40 or whatever? Maybe, but also, how about you just walk after dinner and lift weights? You see what I'm saying? And what you're doing is what all great, powerful, loving ADHD people do is it's way harder to take that $400 a month and put on your house payment. Because it's boring and it's slow and it's right now. And so it's sexier and it gets your heart rate up a little more to think about this future thing, and I'm going to look at the rates and I need to move it over here. And by the way, you know this as well as I do. Within the next year, you'll have a new plan for that money. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
So pay your house off. The greatest gift you could give your kids is a regulated dad.
Yeah.
And for you, that means I don't owe anybody anything. Mm-hmm. The greatest gift you could give those kids is a mom who's got a group of women in her life that she goes and has fun with and laughs with and gets out of that crazy house, and she has a community. Mm-hmm. Spend money there.
How much fun money are we talking for your wife? Have you guys talked through this number?
I guarantee it's like $17.
No, I would give her way more than that. Anyway,
hold on. You aren't giving her anything, my brother. Y'all are deciding this together.
True. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's our money. I'm sorry. I misspoke on that.
Okay, good.
So anyway.
I accept your apology.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
What's the number?
Anyway,
is it $100? Is it $400?
We are ironing out. This is literally our first month of being in baby step 6.
$300 a month. That's it. $400 a month.
Okay.
Let her run wild.
I say if the kids get $200 to the college account, she should get $200.
She should get $600.
There we go. At least
3x. We just made that up. That's baby step 14.
Start the negotiations tonight. From Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Kamel, joined by best-selling author and Ramsey personality, Dr. John Delony, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Kelsey's going to kick us off in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. What's going on, Kelsey?
Hi, I'm a stay-at-home mom, herbalist, and nutrition coach, but I'm currently not making much money from that. In fact, I'm losing money from the booth spot I'm renting. My husband and I, we have 3 children together, and our mother-in-law lives with us. We've been in a rental for 2 years, and I emphasize that because our housing situation was very, bad before. We were, living with people on and off, and so my mom-in-law pays a portion towards rent, and we pay a bigger portion, of course, and we pay all the bills. But my husband's old job, he just lost, paid only around $2,000 a month, and he was the only one working. Almost 100% of our income went to bills, and we were reliant on credit cards to do laundry at the laundromat and basic things. And we're on government assistance. My husband thinks it's better to try to do an online business, but that's not secure. And we have tried online businesses, and they've generated a few thousand here or there, but not anything close to livable and secure. My husband, he just lost his job recently. He's scared a lot of jobs won't pay well and thinks it's better to live off of savings in the hopes of starting an online business. He thinks that's how people get rich. And a lot of jobs he's applied to just aren't getting back to him. We live in the ghetto and want to get out. We actually want to homestead. So my question is, how can my husband get a job where he's not underpaid? How do we get out of this cycle of poverty? And what are your thoughts on this? Like, what mistakes have we made? What small things can we do today?
I mean, if you were here, I wouldn't say anything other than I would ask you if I could just give you a hug. And if I could give him a hug. Y'all are a part of a system that absolutely a media ecosystem that preys on people like you. They prey on you. And not P-R-A-Y, but P-R-E-Y. And my heart's broken for you. Okay? Y'all got 3 kids, you said?
Yes, 3 young kids.
Okay. Here's, if I was to give you any advice at all right this second, I would implore you. I'm not going to beg you, but almost really close to begging you and your husband to close the freaking screens in your house. Instagram and these websites and these opportunities and they're going to bankrupt your soul. Because more than anything in the world, y'all need one thing. Y'all need money.
You don't need another scheme. You don't need to get rich. You need to survive.
You're not even surviving.
So we need to choose reality here and go, hey, we can't pay the bills. We can't launch a business out of a place of weakness.
Homestead. At this point, the homesteading websites, you know what they are? They're pornography. They're a fantasy life that takes you away from the reality that you live in, and it allows you to not address the challenges in your home right now. And the challenges are, is your mother-in-law work, or does she stay at home too?
She stays at home, but she does do cleaning jobs once in a while. So she's not employed. She lives on widow's pension.
Okay. If you were my sister or you were one of my close friends, here's what I would tell you to do. Mother-in-law, you're going to, whatever she makes a month cleaning, you and husband are now going to pay because she's now the primary caretaker of those 3 kids between the hours of 8 and 6 p.m. for the next year. And y'all are going to sacrifice a year. And that might mean you get up and you sob on the way to work. But this stops with you two. And y'all work 2 jobs. You go to Home Depot, and then after Home Depot, you go to Walmart. And after Walmart, y'all drive an Uber ride on the way home until Waymo takes it out of your community too. And you'll just simply have to earn money. There is no way. George and I both had to keep showing up hour after hour, day after day at a job. It just so happens that after a few years, they put our job on the internet, but it wasn't a scheme. That's just not how it works. It's not real. It's just pornography.
I want to say something. I'm really sick of, on X, there's
get off.
Always this...
Hold on, just stop. I just want to stop. Just close it. Just get off. Just get off. Because here's X's job.
14-year-old billionaires is the new norm.
It's not. It's not. Here's what X's job is. Not to tell you the truth. X's job is to keep you on X. That's the job.
It's clicks and views and engagement.
That's Fox News' job, MSNBC's news, CNN. All of their jobs are not to give you truth or reality. It's just to keep you on the platform. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
So here's the hard truth. You asked for some tactical advice how to get out of this. You got to stop living in a victim mindset, going, well, life's just going to keep happening to us, and we can't trust the jobs because they don't pay enough. Develop a skill set that someone's willing to pay for. Go serve someone, and they'll give you a president's face on a $1 bill.
As a way of saying thank you.
And so that's the hard truth is anytime you're spending scrolling on X needs to be spent working. And I don't mean starting an essential oil online business. I mean going to an established company, business that's willing to pay you a stable salary. So that means giving up the dream right now of the booth because you're losing money on it. And that means your husband's going to have to do something that he probably doesn't want to do that might be beneath his skill level, and it's going to be swallowing his pride going, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to take care of my family.
How old are you, Kelsey?
28.
Okay, 42. That was the year I got my 6 acres.
Wow.
And I've wanted that my whole stinking life. Okay? So you're not behind. And by the way, it is awesome. And it's also a crazy pain in the butt. You know what George did last Saturday? I don't know. I mowed for 5 hours. I wish I was doing something else, right? So it comes with all these other things. But it is awesome. 42 is when I got mine. Okay? But here's the deal. You're not going to be able to think your way or online course your way into the 4 jobs that are better. That's not how that's going to work. Your husband's going to have to go get a job at Home Depot today or Walmart today, and then he might find out, I have kind of a mind for logistics. We put these things on this shelf, but they should probably go over here. Or I have a mind for customer service. I love it when somebody comes in mad and I can talk them down, and I'm pretty good at that. Or I love it when other people that I work for come and ask me questions. I wonder if I should get in the management track. That's how that happens.
Actually, he was a supervisor at his last job, but they didn't pay supervisors very well.
Great.
And
then here's the deal.
First state certification.
Okay, but don't get on that. That's victim mindset. They didn't. Cool. The next one might. And the next one might after that. And by the way, y'all's predicament, his predicament, is not a them problem. And so if they don't pay enough, cool, I got to get a second job because y'all's problem is a math problem. And math doesn't care about what your dream is. It doesn't care what you want to get one day. It cares how much bills cost. It's just math. Hang on the line. We're going to send you our buddy Ken Coleman's book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do. And I want y'all to go through that and check all that out. But I want y'all to check that out after y'all both have 2 jobs. It's game on. Game on.
Rachel, do you ever get these sketchy text messages that are like, hey, you need to update your address and verify so we can get you the package you didn't order?
Yes, I have, George. Sketchy, and never trust them.
And that's why we recommend Delete Me. They help with that.
Yeah, they do. Delete Me actually goes in and removes your information from data broker websites, and it is an incredible service that everyone needs.
And there's a lot of shady companies out there that solely exist to sell your personal data to bad guys. And that means your info, like your email address, your home address, your kids' names, your name, everything is just out there for scammers and spammers to find.
So much.
But Delete Me will delete your data, hence the name. It's gone. They'll wipe it out for you so you can sleep easy.
That's right. And then once they remove your information, then they're going to send you a detailed report telling you where they found your information, when they removed it, how many hours they've saved you. I mean, it is incredible. It's so detailed and it's beautiful.
Get this. So far, they've reviewed 27,000 listings on my behalf, removed me from 240 data broker sites, and saved me 77 hours of time. It's incredible.
Absolutely amazing. And Winston and I now get fewer texts, weird emails, spam calls, all of it.
I love it. So you got to be sure to check them out. Ramsey fans get 20% off their annual plans. Just go to joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. That comes out to less than $9 a month. Super affordable.
Again, that's joindeleteme.com/Ramsey. Make sure to check it out, you guys.
Josie is up next in Colorado Springs. Welcome to the Ramsey Show, Josie. How can we help?
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. I'm a big-time listener of the Delony Show.
Oh, wonderful. You got the right guy here.
Yep. Just wanted to ask for some advice. I've been married for 2 years. My husband and I have a 32-year age difference.
How old are you versus him?
Children. He's older.
Oh, I was hoping you were 64 and he was 32. That was going to be awesome. Okay. So it's flipped?
Yeah. And so, yep, he's the older one, 70, and I'm 38.
Okay.
And when we first were courting, I initiated the idea of a premarital agreement. I guess I was so concerned about what people thought, even though I was already established on my own. And so the agreement was that we were just going to keep everything about our finances separate, and that's not good. And so we probably about 6 months ago, we kind of had some discussions and arguments, and he does contribute. However, we just did the Dave Ramsey class, and he just wants to go through like all my spending and like my debt, which I don't have any, but he doesn't want to talk about any of his stuff. And it's just...
Has he always been this way?
I don't...
Very cagey around money conversations?
Or more like a dad?
Is he like, I have my stuff together,
No.
but we can fix you? Or is it just, hey, I'm not going there?
No. That's only come up when I asked him, like, hey, will you help me with a spending plan? And I really would like to take the Dave Ramsey class. And he's like, yeah, of course. So no, he's not been like, but he has always been, not really wanting to share about his
Do you
stuff.
know what he makes?
I don't.
Do you know his net worth? Do you have access to any account that he has?
No.
Where do y'all live?
He's on mine. We live in Colorado, in a small town.
Whose house?
And it's mine. I owned it for 4 years before we got married.
Is he paying the mortgage on it too?
Now on my bank account.
Is he paying the mortgage on it too?
So the answer to that is he contributes every month. So it could go towards it, but it's not enough for the mortgage payment. No.
What's the mortgage payment?
It's $1,632.
And how much money does he give to you every month?
It just started to be $1,500.
Okay. And what was the agreement here?
That
Was
we
there
were
like a,
gonna
hey, you
keep
got to start
everything
paying? Or was he
separate.
just like, hey, I'll pay you $1,500 to help cover bills?
No.
Here's
the agreement was before we got married that we were going to keep everything separate. But then, yes.
Go ahead,
So then really there was no actual agreement of how much. He's like, I'll just give my Social Security and it's $1,000. And then it came out that it was not $1,000. It was 16 something.
Okay,
So
let's do this.
then he
Let's do this. This is an awesome place to be. And here's what I mean awesome. Y'all made something up. Y'all made like a handshake quasi prenup at the beginning of your marriage, and you didn't sign off or have lawyers draft anything.
No, we did.
You did? Okay.
And what
on
is
on the premarital.
What's the spark notes of this prenup? Is it whatever I came in with, I keep, whatever he came in with, he keeps?
Yes,
and you get an allowance?
We're going to keep finances separate forever.
And his name is not on the deed of the house, so he has no ownership in this house, even though he's paying toward it. And he's okay with that.
Correct.
But if you pass away tomorrow suddenly, his kids will sue you for his part of that house because they're going to say he gave you his Social Security amount, and it's going to get dragged through, right? Yes,
Maybe.
that's what will happen. 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're keeping
But
your finances separate, except y'all are Venmoing each other, as George says. Like y'all are like.
Well, no, he got on my account and he began depositing $1,500 every month because I was like, well, yeah, I know it was a lot to take on, me and my 4 kids, but
what do
why
you mean
did
4
I
kids?
think it was,
like you're paying for everyone?
Well, he has recently started contributing. So no, the answer to that is no.
So what do you cover and what does he cover? I'm just so confused by all of this.
Well, back out of the question. How can we help? What are you looking for?
How to talk to him about, like, I don't think it's right to have the benefits of being married, and like me having 100% accountability, and like I just think
let me say it this way: y'all are married legally. Y'all haven't joined houses. Y'all haven't joined hearts. Y'all haven't joined spirits. Y'all haven't joined missions.
Yeah,
you just haven't, and that's okay. That's the arrangement y'all set up. The beauty about arrangements set up by two people who shake hands is they can change that arrangement. It's been a pain in the butt. You have to call a lawyer or whatever, but y'all can do that.
Yeah.
And you can say,
I guess I need advice on how to talk to him about it.
I don't feel safe in this marriage, and I don't feel safe in my home. Because if you drop dead tomorrow, I don't know where things are. I don't know what is what. I don't know who gets what. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm scared to death.
Yeah.
And I was scared to death the last time in my previous marriage when I had 4 kids. I'm scared now. Will you help me?
Yeah.
And he might look at you and say, I will not. That's not that's not nothing for you to worry your pretty little head about.
And it's okay to share your frustrations that you're taking on the brunt of this financial accountability while he sits back and sends a Venmo every month.
Yeah.
I think you want more partnership in this marriage, and that's a fair thing to ask.
And can I tell you this? You aren't a burden. Your kids aren't a burden. He signed up for that. You don't got to apologize for him or take on more just out of this guilt. Like, he signed up for it. He married you, and you came with 4 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you don't have to walk in already wincing to a conversation.
Yeah. And it's just hard to talk to him.
Okay, then that points to a bigger challenge in your marriage beyond finances.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. But he just won't, like, when I bring specific things up to him, he just flat out will ignore it. Like,
well, would he be willing to go to involve a third party and go to counseling with you guys to just work through some of these communication issues?
He has gone to a couple sessions with me, yes, but he still looks at the whole situation as he came in and rescued me. And that's...
So he's got a savior complex. He's like, well, I'll go to counseling with you because you need this and I'm here to support you.
Yeah, I'll go with you to this Dave Ramsey class for you to get your crap together. And you send me your budget and I'll review it for you.
More debt. He has more debt than me. But he's just like, it's no interest for a year. It's not even debt. I'm like,
right. But let's be honest, though. You knew that when you married him.
You mean as far as him not addressing things?
Yeah, he didn't just start avoiding feelings and things after you married him, right?
Well, kind of.
Well,
kind of.
Then if he did, then here's the deal. Then I think you put that on the table. But at some point, you're going to have to either confront this fact that he won't talk to you or share his life with you or any way be engaged with you at all about him. He's just serving as a dad to you. Or you're going to have to make peace with, this is the guy I married and this is the world I have. One of those two things has to be true. Both will be hard.
Hey, technology has changed a lot in the last 30 years. Now the hot topic is AI, and I understand that it might seem intimidating. But if you use AI the right way, it's just another tool to help you work smarter and faster, like a calculator or a cordless drill. So if you run a business, you'd better get on board with it before you get left behind. And NetSuite by Oracle offers AI-powered tools that help small businesses improve efficiency and make smarter decisions by bringing all their major business processes into one platform. That way there's one source of truth for the real-time data you need to take advantage of opportunities. Then you can forecast better, scale more efficiently, and streamline those manual tasks that take too long. So join the more than 41,000 businesses, including Ramsey Solutions, that rely on NetSuite to help tackle some of their biggest challenges. And right now, you can download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, joined by Dr. John Delony. Today's question of the day is brought to you by Why Refi. When life happens and those private student loans go into default, Why Refi offers real possibilities instead of judgment. Why Refi will help you explore a low fixed rate loan based on your unique circumstances. You can learn more by going to whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. May not be available in all states.
Today's question comes from Rebecca in Maryland. My husband and I have children together and children from his prior marriage that live with us most of the time. Is it wrong of me to save for my children's future while not as regularly contributing to my stepchildren's accounts? My husband's ex hasn't helped with lunch money, childcare, activities, or anything, and he refuses to push the issue. I essentially cover her half and have grown resentful about it. I love my stepchildren, but I can't help feeling like she should be contributing. At what point do I put my responsibility to my children first and let her decide if she wants to do the same? Yuck. So I would need a lot more context here, but I'm just going to read this as this is, George. When you married him, his kids came too. And these are now y'all's kids. If you want to treat them as just two strange youngsters living in your house that are that guy's, that's cruel to them. That's cruel to your marriage. It's cruel to your own kids that they can see their mother treat other young kids that way that live in her own house. So there's something about joining together. It sounds like you have a problem with X, that she was in his life, that she's not cool, she's whatever, that she's around. I wish she wasn't.
And that you're picking up her slack.
As you see it. I don't look at it as picking up her slack as much as I am taking care of children, period. And then the next layer is you should be, we can argue over who's taking care of the kids, but the most important thing is we're taking care of kids. And these kids live in your house most of the time. And so I think it's you sitting down with your husband and saying, do you and your ex have a plan for their college, for their food, for their groceries, for their whatever? And y'all sharing y'all's money together, because when y'all got married, y'all are sharing money together. And y'all have kids, whether they're bio kids or whether they're step kids, like they're y'all's kids too, especially when they're living in your house. So this whole thing is just gross and messy. And I guess the thing that's sitting with me not right is at the end of the day, the adults in this scenario are acting like kids and there's hungry children. And I can't stomach that. Take care of kids first, and then the grown-ups can solve their bickering contest. You should pay. No, you should pay. That comes after we make sure all the mouths are fed. And that's after we make sure kids have lunch money and they have a little league game they can go play if we have the money. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking through this, and I'm going, the children didn't ask for any of this.
None of this.
And I think it's
And by the way,
fine.
it's not your kids. It's y'all's kids with this same guy. So this is their brother and sister, or their half-brother and sister.
Yeah. So is it wrong of you? I don't know that I want to call it a wrong or right, and I don't know that everything needs to be equal, but I think it needs to be equitable. I think we need to prepare for all of their futures and make sure that they all have the same opportunities, and not say, well, you're not my kid, so you're not going to get to do this thing over here. That feels cruel for no reason.
Right. Or imagine the stepkids talking to their dad, saying, Dad, why does my brother and sister that I grew up in their same house, why do they have a car and why do they get to go to college and we don't? And he's like, well, actually, their mother loved y'all more than your mother loved you. So sucks to be y'all. Should have got her as a mom. You can't do that.
I would figure
all
out
of
a
this
plan.
is this is mine, this is yours, all the way down from the money.
And I don't know if they've combined finances. There's a lot further questioning I would have here.
Right. There's so many more questions.
But I would try to save for all of their futures. And I don't know what that means. Is that college? Is that something else? Again, we don't know.
Here's the important line. I love my stepchildren, but I can't help feeling like she should be contributing. She should. And she's not. So, she's not. So, what's the next right thing? We're going to feed hungry kids, the ones living in our house first. We're going to start right there. And she should be contributing. Yep, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. 100%. Your husband's kind of spineless. He should go sit down and talk to his wife or get the divorce decree out and hold her accountable. He's not. Have that real conversation, not make the kids suffer for it. That's my thought on it.
Amen.
George, there's like a lot of adults not acting like adults.
Oh, it's brutal. Because you want to just solve it all with like a math problem and like a financial... It's not. There's so much that just comes down to deep work of having really hard conversations that you don't want to have and adults choosing to be adults.
And having big, big feelings and then go doing the right thing anyway, right? That's the definition of adult. I have this feeling and I'm going to go do the right thing. And not just do what feel like doing. Nope. Feel really angry. And I'm going to take care of these kids. I feel taken advantage of. I'm going to take care of these kids, right? And then I'll get on the on my soapbox. But anyway.
Thanks for the question. That's a tough one.
Woo.
Mike is up next in San Antonio on the line.
Mike. What's up, dude?
How's it going?
What's up? How are y'all?
We're doing all right, man.
How can we help?
I'm on my soapbox, so help me get off here a little bit.
Talk John off the ledge.
My question is, so me and my fiancé, we're getting married this summer. We're both 21, and we have combined like $30,000 saved. We live really frugally. We're gonna be paying for a $1,000 apartment. She brings in about $4,000 a month. I'm not working because I have one more semester left of school, and we made a budget, and we determined that it's going to be okay. Like, I don't need to work until I graduate. So my question is regarding cars. I have a car with 170,000 miles on it, and it's becoming pretty unreliable. She has a car with 120,000 miles on it, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what we should do.
Has the car been in the shop? How much money have you sunk into this thing in the last 6 months?
Quite a lot. I don't know exactly. I think it would probably be like 2,000.
Well, have you sunk the money and now it's running?
It's still running, yeah, but I have to replace possibly the catalytic converter soon.
What's the car worth today?
I'm not sure. I looked it up online. It was saying about $3,500, but
I would not sell this car until you're done with school and you have a job and you could pay cash for what's next. And unfortunately for you, you called two guys that drove to work today in cars that have over 200,000 miles on them.
Woo!
Just, you picked the wrong day to call the show.
Chose the wrong two dudes. I'm like, 170, that's cute. We're getting started.
I know.
What kind of car is it?
I want to pat it on the head.
Yeah, okay.
What kind of car do you drive? What is this thing?
It's a Ford Fiesta. I guess my main concern is that the transmission might go out because...
Yeah, we might get hit by a meteorite, dude. The deal is you don't want to drive that car.
Yeah, what's the question behind the question?
You hate that car. That's cool.
I mean, I honestly don't hate it. I really like it. It gives good gas mileage.
But here's the thing. You guys have the money to cover necessary repairs.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't have any debt? But either of you?
No debt. We're both graduating debt free.
Amazing. So when and if that car does completely die and the repairs are worth more than the car, then at that point I would say, all right, we're going to go buy a used, reliable car for $10,000.
Are you trying to sell it so you can get some value out of it? You think you're going to just depreciate it into the mud?
Yeah, that was my, if the transmission goes out, I wouldn't be able to sell it. But if I could sell it now, I get money from the car.
To a single mom who's got $3,000 that she scraped together to buy a car?
What was that? I'm sorry.
I mean, who are you going to sell a car to that you're worried about the transmission's right about to go? I need to get it out of my driveway really fast before it blows up. I don't know. Trade it in if someone takes it. I wouldn't sell it myself. Okay.
I would wait until that day actually comes, and we'll cross that bridge, and you'll probably trade it in for $1,000
Yeah,
to the
you get
dealership for parts.
$1,000. Yeah.
That's what I've done in the past, and then I go, okay, well, we knew this was coming. It's not a surprise, so let's set aside money that is Mike's upgrade car fund, and not say, this is an emergency, drain the entire emergency savings while I'm still in school and we're not even married yet. I would make this decision together when that time comes.
All right, Dave, you have some strong opinions.
Possibly, yeah.
I think so. Okay, because you really prefer credit unions over big banks.
Well, credit unions, for one thing, are nonprofit, which means that the members, the customers, own the credit union. So any profits that the credit union makes goes back into customer pricing. So you get better interest rate on savings, cheaper checking, and so on, that kind of thing. But that's what's more important than that, though, is the fact that the customer is the owner changes the spirit on the credit union. So I find very few credit unions that aren't very customer-centric.
Well, and I think we have found one that is incredible, and that's Fairwinds. They are an incredible credit union that is really out with the heart to help the customer.
They're the right kind of people with the right kind of values. And they've done a really, really good job with customer service. And the deals that they're offering, the Ramsey Tribe, is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. The things that we teach, they so line up with. And you're right, their customer service is unbelievable. Winston and I just signed up and we got an account.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. It took less than 5 minutes. It was so user-friendly. Like, the step-by-step approach was unbelievable. And then the next day, my phone rings and it says Fairwinds on my phone. So I answered it and talked to someone there, and they said, yeah, they give calls to every new customer. And so again, they just really care about your experience. And I so appreciate that. Plus, anything that you can do at a traditional branch, you can do with them at fairwinds.org or on their app. And you'll have free access to over 33,000 ATMs.
Hey, you guys know how much I hate banks in general. And so for me to do this is a big deal. Talk to our friends at Fairwinds and check out the combined checking and savings bundle that they created just for the Ramsey Tribe. You guys, it's incredible.
Yeah, you guys, it's so easy to join Fairwinds no matter where you live. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey.
Fairwinds is federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, you're wondering where your money's going, your first step is getting on a budget. And lucky for you guys, our team is hosting a free budgeting training this month where you're going to learn step by step how to make and stick to a budget using our app, EveryDollar. Plus, you can get your biggest budgeting questions answered in a live Q&A. So go check it out. Spots are limited. You can sign up for free at everydollar.com/webinar. Eli is in Huntsville, Alabama, up next. Eli, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you guys for taking my call. Hello.
Sure. How can we help?
So I just had a quick question. So we were thinking about doing the debt snowball. I haven't really watched the show, but I've seen some shorts on Instagram. And so my wife got her bachelor's and is not able to find a job. And I'm considering to just, instead of doing the debt snowball, saving some money up for her to get her master's, because I feel like that'd be a bigger return to investment than trying to pay it all off now.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Or not.
Yeah, please don't do that. What's your degree in?
So I'm a nuclear pharmacist.
No, not you. What's her degree in?
Oh, it's in psychology.
Okay. And what is she trying to find work at doing?
Well, she's just been she was trying to use her degree, just kind of be, I don't know, just in like mental health counselor facilities with just a bachelor's, and she wasn't able to really find a solid job.
Yeah, to practice, to even sit for the licensure exam, you have to have a graduate degree, so I get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to me about your debt load that y'all have right now.
So she has around 20,000. Well, I guess we have 20,000 for her bachelor's, and I have 70,000 for my doctorate degree.
Is that all of the debt? No credit cards, no car loans, just student loans?
Yeah, but we're also closing on a house at the end of this month as well. I don't know if that's considered a loan or it's a mortgage, I guess.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big loan.
Big financial step while you guys are trying to pay off debt to add on the stress of home ownership. How much are you putting down on the house?
See, that was a problem, and I put $0 down on the house.
Oh, God, Eli.
Was this like an FHA loan?
Yeah, I got it. I was approved for an FHA loan that kind of will cover the down payment and stuff like that.
God.
That's just called more loans. That's not a gift.
Yeah.
They don't hook you up.
Yes. I understand.
And even the word approved, and bro, we're just imagine us sitting at a table with you, like sharing nachos. We're like having fun with you, not at you. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
But even the word approved, like
I got approved for $150,000 of student loans. You're like, that's not as awesome as you think.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna consider whether we can own you for 30 years. We'll get back to you. And you're like, please. How much do you make a year?
So right now I make $90,000 a year.
Oh, big box of farts on a stick. So y'all have $90,000 in the hole. How big of a house did you just buy?
It was $218,000.
Okay.
And that's what's on the mortgage.
And that's what's on the mortgage, yes. And also, every year I'm going to get a $10,000 salary increase.
Okay.
Up to $130,000.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
How 100%? Because I have some friends who work in the forestry service who are pretty sure they'd have a job this year and they don't.
Well, the thing is, I took a pay cut to get this job, so the average salary is $130,000. So
why did you take the pay cut?
Well, the way it worked is to get into the nuclear, it's kind of competitive, and he was able to get me in and pay for the schooling, and he promised me it's an agreement to increase $10,000 every year, and it's like up to $130,000. But I can just leave and go to a different pharmacy and make that money now. But obviously, I have.
So when you say paying for schooling, is that paying off your student loan debt?
Oh yeah. Well, yes. Well, here's the thing. So when I say pay for schooling, I meant paying for her to go to school, but it wouldn't be I'm also paying my debt as well.
So you're telling me you can go out and get a job making $40,000 more today per year, but you're foregoing that to cover her potential master's degree?
No, I could do that now. Like right now, I could leave and get a better job. But the career, nuclear pharmacy is very limited in vocations. And the career I chose, I made a deal with him, like where I was going to work for him for lower pay cut. And I can still afford paying her her schooling and pay our debts and everything. That's not the problem. I was wondering if I should snowball that now.
Yes.
Don't wait until you have more money. That day will never come because it'll always be, well, if we just made a little more, we could clean this up faster.
Or,
you need
honey,
to tackle
I'm
the debt now.
with twins, or the car explodes, or that boss gets fired. And
there's always going to be a better time to pay off debt. So I think we need to face the reality and go, every single dollar that's not food, shelter, utilities, transportation, insurance, and debt minimum payments needs to go toward cleaning up this debt.
And it's not a disinvestment. It's like you've bound yourself in an algorithm that doesn't need to be bound the way you've tied yourself up. Here's what I mean.
Okay.
If she goes and gets a job for 2 years, working as a receptionist in a psychiatrist's office, she's going to get incredible skills into how the business of being a psychologist works. She's going to learn how to do scheduling, how to do budgeting, how to do time, how to do cancellations. That is an incredible business ROI on the practice of being a therapist that many therapists don't get until they blow it. And so, or getting a job as a hospital runner, getting a job as a hospital chaplain, sitting with people who just lost a loved one, all of these things. My job as a dean of students, sitting with people who had just cheated and I've got to say, you can't be in college anymore, or sitting with kids who are about to go to jail, or sitting with parents whose kids just died. All of those things gave me tools that when I finally went to get a PhD in counseling, I had so much more context. So the idea is it's an ROI, dollar for dollar. You can't think of it that way. You have to think of what's going to make her the best therapist over time with the dollars that we have in our house right now. And y'all are negative $90,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the important thing. Your negative $90,000, not including your mortgage. So let's get to zero. Let's get 20% of that house paid down, and then let's exhale and then say, okay, what do you want to do next year? And by the way, I'm making $20,000 more dollars. See how that, you get what I'm saying? And here's what George and I are solving for. We're solving for peace in your house. And most Americans do not have that. They don't have peace in their house. Okay. Is that fair?
Okay.
What would it cost for her to go get this master's?
$30,000, and I have
total.
I calculated enough. Yeah, total, because it'd be UNA, University of North Alabama.
Well, good on UNA, man. I didn't know there were any programs under 50 or 60.
But you're telling me your employer is going to cash flow that on her behalf?
Well, I'm going to get the money, and I'm going to be paying it off. Yeah, basically.
Well, let me make it clear. You took a $40,000 pay cut every single year to pay for a one-time $30,000 bill.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's bad math?
Well, let's see. Okay, the reason I did it when I didn't have I was rotating for pharmacy, and I really really wanted to get into nuclear, and everyone was telling me you're not going to get into nuclear. It's impossible. It has a low turnover rate. So when he offered me the job, $90,000. I mean, I already got the nuclear licensing, so I could theoretically leave. But I kind of feel indebted to him. He's it's a small business, and he's been teaching me a lot and all that. And that's kind of the reason why I'm staying there with the $90,000. And I mean, we're saving enough where I can debt snowball a little bit. I can put in like $500 extra.
And I'm telling you, you are stunting your financial growth and future by being quote unquote indebted to your friend. I would say, hey, thanks, man. I need to get out of this hole. And I'm not asking you for a $40,000 raise, but I have this opportunity over here that's going to get us out of debt years ahead of time. And we're just going to cash flow her degree. I appreciate everything you've done for me.
And you know what makes me feel like I've got amazing friends is when I go to their house and I see they've got my book on their shelf and they didn't ask me for it. They got online and bought it because they wanted to support me. And so a great friend may not ask you to take a $40,000 pay cut just as a high five. Just food for thought.
I hope that helps, man. Best of luck with everything.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys. What do we do?